Hello friends, it's Nico here. After hours of research, I've come up with this masterpiece. Today's video is one that I've been very excited to do for many reasons. One of them being personal, the fact that I wanted to learn and was excited to learn, and even more excited to share these things with you guys. Let's get on with the video. Personally, for me, I've been wanting to elevate or level up on my makeup, and I haven't done it for what seems like a long time. I've been a cosplayer for a lot of years. I always say 7+. I'm pretty sure it's at 10 at this point. And I've done so many trial and errors with makeup to perfect the, I guess, perfect cosplay makeup. There's no such thing as a perfect cosplay makeup because makeup changes. Makeup is like fashion. It trends fall, you get tired of a makeup style, you move on to a different one. I never recommend to compare yourself to anyone. Not to me, not to any cosplayer out there, not to any person out there. You are your own person with your own face, your own beauty. These are just tips that I've come across that are for everyone. It might need slight modifications. If you're looking into elevating your cosplay makeup, please keep on watching this video. Now, I'm being completely honest with you. I am learning with you as we speak. This is my first trial on this makeup perfection techniques. I can tell you right now, because this is the result of it, I love it. Also, since we are talking about cosplay makeup, this does vary per character, but you'll get a general idea of what I'm trying to say. This even works for everyday makeup or any type of makeup, event makeup, anything. But it is specifically for cosplay, and you'll see why. First thing, and something me and a lot of us have neglected, and it became a very important thing, it is makeup prep routine. We're talking about skincare routine. I didn't realize how important that was to how the makeup was gonna stay on your skin or was gonna show on your skin, or how the makeup was gonna hide the texture of your skin. We have to do it. It's very important. It is time consuming. A lot of this is going to be even more time consuming. And as cosplayers that go to conventions, we're basically just adding more prep time, but I promise you it's worth it, especially if you're going to be using that same makeup the whole day. Prep your face, prep your skin. It's going to need it. So there's different ways of going about it. I'm going to use as an example, when we go to conventions, a lot of times we wake up, you do your skincare, you might have breakfast before you even start getting your makeup on. If you don't, then just skip to the makeup prep routine. The right way would be to do the cleanser first, which is just wash, clean your face, toner, serum, eye cream, moisturizer, oils. Now, I am really crazy about my skincare routine, so I definitely have a lot of steps that I add to it. One of them is I do gua sha. So in that case, I would do oil, gua sha, wash my face to get rid of the oil, and then do the whole skincare routine. And sometimes I'll do a face mask in the morning. It is recommended to do that at night, and then just massage your face in the morning. The skin prep recommendations are actually less is more. The oil actually impacts how the foundation stays and looks on your skin because you're mixing different ingredients. So if you're using oil for your face, but then you're using a water-based foundation, it's gonna spread and it's not gonna stay on as you want it to. Just keep that in mind. There is water-based and silicone foundations, and you just have to check on the ingredients and try not to mix them. The best way I can recommend without having to stress about every single ingredient on every skincare thing that you use is to just use serum and primer. You don't have to use the primer too. That's just how it worked for me. I use this Innisfree serum, and I use this e.l.f. Sea Bright Putty Primer. My skin is really sensitive, so I do break out easily, and so far it's been okay. Those are the best mixes for skincare prep before makeup. You gotta let them dry before you start doing it. So at least wait like 5 minutes for it to like soak in, and then move on to your makeup. Add to the skincare for both, for morning or makeup prep. I would add lip scrub or lip moisturizer, lip balm could work. A tip or a hack that I like to do to avoid dryness would be, so I like to use my toothbrush. Just rub it, you know, in the lips as an exfoliator. It also promotes blood flow, so your lips look really puffy and cute. Another thing, if we are traveling or at a convention, one thing that really helps, hopefully they have ice. If you're having a blemish that's really swollen, is just put ice on it. It's just to lower the swollenness of the blemish. You can even use it on your whole face. Just rub ice all over your face to depuff. Now, I'm not gonna go too much into this one. I did include it on the list because it is an option for a lot of you, and that would be face tape. I can do a whole separate video on how to do it correctly. Personally, I don't like it. I don't like pulling on my skin. I just hate the feeling of it. Not saying it's a bad thing. I want to start giving it a try. I do want to make a whole video dedicated to this. Let me know in the comment below if that's something you're interested in. Next would be concealer. It is very 50-50 if you should do concealer first before foundation, foundation before concealer. So it's all up to you. Personally, I like to do concealer first. One thing you want to do with concealer, you want to apply the product to your hand. You don't want to go directly with it because a lot of times that's too much product for such a small area. I use my finger to place it on top and then spread it with a brush. This is not the best concealer brush at all. It is too hard, so it should be a little bit softer. You want to make sure that you spread it to one direction. This is a really great tip and hack that I like to use. Probably seen this before. Color correcting with concealer. They sell it in different colors with palettes. They sell it separate. So what I did is memorize two. The easy way, so I don't have to buy a specific product for this. And I love this hack and it worked wonders. I took some concealer, put it in my hand, and with my finger, I put eyeshadow. I put orange or peachy eyeshadow on my finger and then blended it together with the concealer, and I put that under my eyes. Now remember just these two. If you want more, go ahead. These two were the ones that related to me. Orange neutralizes blue hues, and as for green is used for blemishes to correct redness. I use the same orange for the blemishes, to be honest. If I would have used the green, might have covered them more, but honestly, I didn't mind that you could see a little bit of spotting. Like if I did have a big blemish, then I might use that technique. When you're covering blemishes, you want to make sure that you're swiping one direction as well, and you're dabbing around it instead of on top of it, because when you dab on top of it, you know, you're removing that product, and you want to let it dry before you move on to the foundation. I also put concealer on the sides of my nose, and I'm gonna end up putting even more when I start doing the contour for the nose, but in this case, I just did it from the beginning. Another thing that you can do is you cover your blemishes and you do your concealer, and then you put on setting spray, you wait for that to dry, and then you move on to the foundation. Moving on to foundation. You want to apply the foundation to the back of the hand. I mix the Stay Naked foundation with my e.l.f. one. This is the part where it was a little bit annoying to add to my makeup routine for conventions. This is gonna be adding more time to it, but I promise you it's gonna be worth it. You apply the foundation to your hand. You can mix it right there if you're mixing foundations, and you wanna apply per section. Why? Because a lot of times these foundations are pretty fast drying. So when you're applying to all of your face and just dabbing all over, you're rushing into it. So you're not covering spots that might need extra coverage. You're also allowing it to dry before you get to it and not spread or cover as much as it could. With my finger, I grab the foundation and I slide it outwards in this section of the face. So in this case, I tried this side of my face first, and then I dab it inwards and make sure that all crevices, all sides are covered. I went down my neck as well, which I usually always do. And then I moved into the next side of my face. Same thing. Then I move on to the forehead and the nose. Now for the forehead and the nose, you wanna spread the foundation downwards. Now with the sponge, you dab it downwards as well. I'm gonna go in circles in areas that are more hidden, like behind the nose wings. You want to go in circles and make sure that area is very well covered. This area is very prone to be oily and lose makeup at one point. Now it depends on your skin type if you're gonna prefer a matte or dewy foundation. Moving on to contour, my favorite part of all makeup. So for this, you want to go for a cool tone. Also depends on your skin color, of course. This is what works for me. I wanted to make it more of a shadow rather than bronzer. A good tip from this is to contour and go with the shape of your face. Again, this does differ per character, because if you're trying to do one with a more rounded face, you're gonna want to try to change the shape of your face a little bit. But if you're trying to go for something that suits you and makes you feel better, you just want makeup to look good on you, even if it's not like 100% the character, because let's face it, we're not gonna look like these characters because they're cartoons and they're fictional. So sometimes we just want makeup that looks good on us and we feel good on it. If that's something you're struggling with, just go with the natural shapes of your face. Just enhance your natural beauty. I do change the shape of my face for makeups depending on what kind of character I'm doing, but I can notice that when I do a more rounded face, I don't like how I look. I like when I do characters that are more masculine, I guess, not too masculine. Something that I learned, what I used to do with contour is I used to do my jawline and I used to spread the contour down my neck, because that's what I've learned. You know, you have the contour, you need to match and spread it so it looks natural. But I learned when I did this way, this is more natural looking than what I used to do. Did the line on top of the jawline, right on top of the end of the jawline. This is the kind of thing that you will have to follow your own natural jawline to do, otherwise it won't work. And you might want to do the spreading downwards choice if you're trying to go against your jawline. Line right at the end of my jawline on both sides. Instead of spreading it downwards, I actually did the opposite. I brightened the top and the bottom part. So it looks like a line, but it looks like a shade, like, rather than it looking darker on my neck. I find that that worked perfectly for me. Now for the nose, you want to use a smaller brush. You want to have more control of that line down your nose. This part was a struggle for me because I was just having a lot of trouble with it. I don't know why, but I did it. That's what matters. You want to make your bridge, like if you're trying to go for a thinner nose, for like a slim nose character, you want to make it thinner than your natural bridge. You just go on top of it. It'll feel unnatural. It's part of the process of changing the shape of your nose. You're gonna wanna go over that shape to make it thinner, instead of following the natural length of your bridge. If you're trying to make a thinner nose, but the bridge is thicker, you're just enhancing the thickness of your bridge, which is fine if that's what you're going for. I even use brown eyeshadow for it. So you can use contour, but I found that eyeshadow actually worked. After you shape it, you want to go over it with some concealer. I put very little on the top of my hand again, and then with the tip, with the other side of the sponge, I just dabbed it and made sure that there was not too much excess. And then I went over the sides of my nose. A big part of contouring is the highlight. You want to make sure you have a specific brush for the highlight. I would even say smaller than this, but this is the one I have at the moment, so I'm just working with what I got. You want to go right in the middle, in the tip of your nose, right in the middle. Just be very careful with it. And just do a little dot and then do the line to connect to that dot all the way down. Keep it as thin as you possibly can. I do highlight under my eyebrows, on my shin, my jawline. I highlight my cheekbones. Now, powder. For powder, I use the HD powder. I always prefer like a sheer powder, but you use the one you want. You want to use a smaller brush to really set your under eyes and areas that are prone to get oily. And with the bigger brush, you can just spread it all over and add it to different parts of the face. You want to make sure that you're dabbing the brush to get rid of any clumps. You don't want to take those clumps to your face because then it'll make your makeup look cakey. For the eyes, I've learned that the best way to go about it is to have 3 different eyeshadow brushes. I know it can be excessive. Wait, actually 4, my bad. One that's for the base color before you go on to the corners and do another whatever color of choice. If you're doing a smoky color like a black or a dark brown, or if you're just doing a peachy color, then you have that one. Then you have one that targets specific areas and specific corners of the eyes and spreads it as well. And then you have the thinner one, which you're gonna use this as an eyeliner. You're not gonna put eyeliner on it. You're gonna use eyeshadow as an eyeliner before you even put on actual eyeliner, because when you go straight in with eyeliner without having a guide of how you want your eye shape to be or your eye makeup to be, you're more prone to making mistakes and having to wipe them. And once you wipe them, you're ruining that perfect makeup that you already spent so much time in perfecting around your eyes. For the first eyeshadow base, I find that white is too much. It might depend on the character. I find that the best base color is beige. Any beige would do. I use this Etude House palette. Actually, this is my girlfriend's, but I took it from her. And then on top of that, I use whatever color you're gonna go for. In this case, I use peach because it's my favorite color. Like peach or like orangey is my favorite secondary color. And then once you're done with your eyeshadow work, that's when you go ahead and use the eyeshadow as your eyeliner. You're gonna go with the darkest brown you have and just make the shape that you're gonna want. And this is easier to fix versus eyeliner, which spreads when you're trying to fix it. You're gonna create the shape that you want and then you're gonna go on top of it with the eyeliner. For the eyeliner, I find that when you're going for a bigger eye look, eyeliner on top is enough for me. I'm not gonna go around and create the bigger eye look. I'm just gonna do the line on top and do the rest of it with the eyeshadow work. I'll put a pinkish or orangey color around it to keep the shape that I want. Instead of using white to open up my eyes or make them look bigger, I leave it as it is. Or you could use a beige color if you have a beige liner, or a peach color, and then I go with a pinkish tone to the bottom of my eyes under the waterline. I connect all that makeup. I've known this all along, but I never did it because it was so uncomfortable, but I find that it looks so much better. And it's to line your upper waterline. So when you do the eyeliner, make sure you don't skip on lining inside, like in between your eyelashes and under in that waterline, because that connects the whole makeup together and it doesn't leave gaps. A lot of times I would just do the upper line and then I feel like there was a gap when I would see the pictures in the end. It needed fixing. And then instead of completing the liner with just eyeliner, black eyeliner, I complete it with dark eyeshadow. So I go in the end and I do the line softly with that dark eyeshadow. I find that it looks like it blends in better. This is specifically for like cute characters or very feminine characters, more of a cute personality. I find that the aerosol is a good way to enhance the cute factor. I think they call it jelly roll too. If you're one that does this, or if you're interested in trying to do the aerosol, the best way to do it is to go over your eye bags. Instead of taking the shape of your eye bag and making it look even puffier, go over that and make the aguisal look smaller. I'm not a pro at the aguisal, so I don't know how to do it right, but I figured I would give it as a tip just because it does make the characters look cuter. My under eye bags are so puffy, and if I were to go with my shape, I would just look like I haven't slept for 20 days. The eyebrows. It depends on the character because colors vary and they don't sell these pencils in every single color. But if the character has a natural hair color, you want to try to use these eyebrow pencils. They really look more natural than eyeshadow. You can also make eyeshadow look very natural if you know how to do it. It's just for me, I find that the pencil does better. You want to make it look like hair strands. If you want to go that extra mile and make it look more like an in real life character, go ahead with a really thin brush and make the hair at the beginning of the eyebrows. Also brush it upwards, that helps a lot. I found an easy way to do this effect. If your eyebrow pencil has this, or if you just have a spare one somewhere that has like the little bristles, I don't know what this is called. I pass it over the eyeshadow of whatever color you're using. In this case, I use brown, and I brush my eyebrows upwards, and it actually created that line where it looks like natural eyebrows. So you gotta make sure that you don't put too much eyeshadow. You want to pass it over your hand before you try that. Last thing would be the lips. I have two ways of doing lips if you're doing female characters or male characters. Now for male character, the best way is not putting foundation on top of your lips entirely. Instead, make sure you have a little bit of foundation, not too much on the sponge, but just whatever's left after you did your makeup. And then you would go over the corners of your lips to, what is that? So you go over the corners of your lip, and then you're gonna go from inward to outward with the color of your choice. If it's gonna be a lipstick color, then you wanna apply very little and then spread it outwards with a brush. If it's gonna be an eyeshadow color, it's just basically try to stay within the center of the lips. With your fingers, just spread it to the ends of it. It's gonna look a little bit lighter on the corners, which is what you want if you want to have thinner lips or more masculine lips. And then you line inner corners of your lips with a darker one. For masculine characters, I feel like this gives it a really nice touch to make it darker in the center. Now for female characters, you're trying to make your lips puffier and bigger, then instead of lining over your lip shape, which again, that does work because I've done it too that way. Like you can see where your lip naturally is versus what you lined over. I find that just lining over your cupid's bow, it makes a better looking effect and a cuter effect. It depends on your lips as well. If you have naturally plumpy, luscious lips, this part is a lot easier for you. But if you have thinner lips, then maybe the cupid's bow might not be enough. You might want to use a lip tint on top of it and try to keep it in the center of it. And then use lip gloss to put everything together. For blush, I do always recommend to still put blush. It really adds color to your makeup, even if it's a little bit. But I recommend putting it on top of your cheekbones. When you put it a little lower, it does kind of sunk in your face. And it also depends on the shape of your face where the blush application should be. That is pretty much it for this video. I hope this is useful to you in any way. Please let me know in the comment down below if I missed anything or if you have any questions. Comment down below. Make sure you follow me on all my social medias, as well as subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell so you can be notified of my future videos. Like, share to whoever needs this. Thank you for watching. Bye.